Yeah, outside the box, again, making standard AutoCAD a Company Toolbox. It's working. Fantastic. So I'll try the next slide and see what happens. Here we go. Yay! Right. So my name's Steve Crow. I've been with the company now knocking on 32 years, I think. So I've been using AutoCAD for about 35 years. So I've seen some versions of AutoCAD come and go in that time. Now, my role with the company primarily is support and training. The products which I train and support are AutoCAD LT, the full version of AutoCAD, AutoCAD Architecture. I also train and support Revit Architecture and Revit MEP as well. Now, I used to train AutoCAD Civil as well, but we've now got dedicated trainers who do that. So, yeah, but I'm busy with training at the moment. All the training, all this carry on at the moment, all my training has backed up. So my diary is full from now to Christmas, and companies are booking me in for training into January, February, March now. So yes, just busy, which is good. Okay, so as I said, normally I'm either training or on support calls. So tomorrow, well, the rest of the week, I'm on support calls this week. But anyway, right, now a bit about the company itself. The company have got offices all over the globe now, and there's all the European offices. You see on the little inset there, we've got companies in America, offices in America and in Canada. We've got offices in Russia as well now, and our boss is telling us there's another couple of acquisitions going through. I can't remember where they were, but yeah, so we're active as a company as well, which is really good. In terms of what we do as a company or where we are, 30 plus years old. I wish that was my age, but sadly not. Head office in France, and it says they're operating in 11 countries. It might be more than that by now, with these other acquisitions going through. 48 offices. We've got the 4 or 5 offices in the UK as well. Well, actually, more than that possibly now. With now I've got Open Tree as well. But yeah, we're still growing, even through all this trouble that's going on at the moment. We're still making headway, which is good, which is nice to know. 550 staff there, more than that now, and we're all linked together. We have like a central help desk system. So if you're ever struggling with anything, then you can email in problems, phone us up, and it gets put into a help desk system, and then it gets distributed out to the relevant people who know those particular products. We've got programmers as well. Our guys wrote a program called Advanced Steel, and I believe that we sold that back to Autodesk as a product, so they can distribute it through their network as well. So yeah, customers first. Down there it says 98% excellent or good for our customer support. And yeah, training courses, we're pushing the training courses. So even through the shutdown, we've been doing online training. But our training rooms are now open again, but we are limiting the numbers in the rooms. We're making it just one company in the room at a time. So I was training some guys of the week, 4 guys in the room. We normally take 9 in the room, but we're half in the numbers in the training rooms. But anyway, so yes, yeah, that's we're busy still. Okay, so we're just more on the PowerPoint. I mean, I don't know the full ins and outs of this PowerPoint. I was just giving it to put my name on the front end and add little bits and pieces. Yeah, so there we go. Anyway, so this AutoCAD session, I should have changed the heading there. So this is a how-to session on customizing AutoCAD. Yeah, don't use it out of the box. Everybody does that. You need to tweak and tailor the interface to the way that you want to work. That's the idea. Now, I know a lot of you are historical AutoCAD users, and you like to work in your old familiar fashion, but be careful because they are changing the way the interface works. I mean, they used to have the classic view where you could just click the button and you came back to your comfort zone with the toolbars on the screen. And I know some of you still use toolbars. Not a problem, you can still use toolbars, but they have removed the classic view from your workspace list. So that doesn't exist as a workspace anymore. However, the toolbars are still there if you know how to turn them on. So what I want to show you is how to set up the interface in what I think is a nice, usable fashion. You might not be aware that out of the box, there are some things missing off the interface. Don't ask me why they ship it like that, and that's just how it comes. So I'm going to go into AutoCAD in a moment and show you that. And I'm going to show you, I know the perceived drawbacks with the ribbon that you guys have got. What I'm hoping I can show you is a way around that, so you can move on to the ribbon, because that's the way things are going. Because soon they will take the toolbars out of AutoCAD. They have gone from Civil. They have gone from AutoCAD Map. There are no toolbars in Revit or Architecture. There are no toolbars in Revit MEP. And if you can set up, if you like, a standard interface with the ribbon, you'll be able to just drop straight from AutoCAD into Revit and vice versa. And I predict that further down the line, that Revit and AutoCAD will be one product, and it'll all be driven from the ribbon. So just watch out. I think a few years down the line, you won't have the separate products. You just click on a button and it will switch to an AutoCAD interface or a Revit interface. So just be careful. I mean, Microsoft Office, for example, that's all ribbon based, and you can get away with that. So there's no reason at all why you shouldn't be able to get away with the ribbon interface in AutoCAD. I mean, Microsoft, when they brought out the ribbon, they just said, there you go, guys, get on with it. That's the new interface. Whereas AutoCAD, they said, well, there's a new interface. It was AutoCAD 2007. So we're in AutoCAD 2021 now. So that's about 15 years ago, they brought the ribbon in, and people are still using the toolbars. Anyway, so, and also you can transfer your setup on one machine to a setup on another machine. I'll show you how to do that. And a little bit looking at macros and tool palettes and that kind of thing. And if I get chance and time, I rapidly ran out of time this morning when I was going through it all. I'm not used to doing these 1 hour sessions. I'm used to chattering away for a whole day, for 3 days on my training courses. So yes, we'll have a look at dynamic blocks. That's a good one. They're useful. And also annotative objects. They've probably all seen them. You may well have received drawings with annotative objects in. That's where they can scale up and down automatically based on the viewport scale. Dimensions, text, hatch patterns, symbols, attributes. So they'll scale up and down automatically based on the viewport scale. If I get a chance, I'll show you those as well. Right, let's have a look then. So any questions? Yes, if you have any questions afterwards, just email me, steve.crow@greatec.co.uk, and I will give you that email address later on as well, if you haven't scribbled it down already. These webinars will get uploaded to our website. So if there are, I mean, I'm blasting through the fair old pace here. If there are things you haven't got time to write down, then you can go back onto our website, replay these and pause and what have you. You need to jot things down. I got some emails from the first one this morning saying, what were all those settings, Steve? I didn't have time to write them all down. Well, yeah, I'm limited for time really. So, but yeah, go back and rerun the webinars in your own time, and you can pause and what have you. So let's have a look. So if let me have a go at this, come out of that, close that, and then I should be able to change to my AutoCAD screen, AutoCAD 2021. Right, so you should be able to see my AutoCAD screen there. Can I have a yes, please, on that? A yes on that one, somebody, please. Can you see my AutoCAD screen there? A front end. Fantastic. Yeah, cheers, Adam. Thanks for that. So that's the familiar front end to AutoCAD, whether it's AutoCAD LT or whether it's the full version of AutoCAD. I'm just going to just drop straight into a drawing file here, just so I've got something on the screen. Let me just fold this panel out the way so I can see. I'm going to hide I better not hide that control panel. So this is the interface. Now I have tweaked and changed my interface there, look, to how I like to have AutoCAD. Now, as I say, out of the box, there are things missing. Now, I don't know whether you're aware, but with AutoCAD, if there's a problem with your AutoCAD, it's really slow or it's hanging or crashing or whatever, then you can do what's called a reset settings to default. Now I'm going to do it on my machine here. So I might need to change my screen. I'm going to change it back to the whole screen. That's my desktop and everything. So you'll be able to see my Windows taskbar across the bottom there as well. I want to show you how to do what's called a reset settings to default, and this will cure a multitude of issues because it will reset your AutoCAD back to a clean, out-of-the-box install of AutoCAD. Now, obviously, it's going to wipe out any of your customization in AutoCAD, but it does give you an option to save it all. So, at the moment, this is my interface where I'm going to close AutoCAD. I'm going to close AutoCAD. So I've just closed, come on, I should have closed AutoCAD from there. So there's my AutoCAD closed. I might as well close that presentation as well. And there's my desktop. I'm going to go into my start button, bottom left-hand corner. I'm assuming you can still see my screen. I'm just going to talk you through it anyway. If you go to the all programs or your start button, go to your AutoCAD program. There it is, AutoCAD 21, the folder there, the folder. And then in there, you have a whole lot of settings, things like attach digital signatures, as we start up AutoCAD, batch standards check. There's other things in there, look. What I'm going to do here now, it's not showing in here the reset settings to default. If it's not, it's a case of right-click on one of those options and go to the folder or the file location. And then I'm going to go back one level. I've gone back one level to the folder there, look. And it says reset settings to default. Now, quite often that is on that front end menu, but if I say reset settings to default, reset custom settings, if you want to back up things, well, you can do. Now, bear in mind, it won't delete things like your drawing templates and things, which should be saved on the server anyway. So reset custom settings, I've gone back to an out-of-the-box install, and it will now run my AutoCAD again, but it will be like it is out of the box. And as I say, this can cure a multitude of problems. And it's one of the things I would ask a customer to do if I was on a support call and the machine wasn't behaving itself, then you can do a reset into default and it goes back to a clean out of the box install, see if it runs, then if need be, add in at that point, bit by bit, your customizations. You might have a menu file, you might have some templates, plot styles, load those back in and see if it falls down at any point. So it's a good way of working out what's going on with your program. So there we go, fresh, clean install, and it rewrites the registry as well. So it's even better than doing a control panel uninstall because it rewrites your registry. Now let's go in and have a look at the front end now. Look at the program. Let's go look at the editor now. Straight away you can see it's different, got different colors on there. So the ribbon's gone dark, you've got the dark interface for the ribbon. The background, that's not a black background, by the way. That is not a black background. This is a very, very dark grey. And some people like to have a black background. If it's black, you get a nice, real sharp contrast on your colours. So if you want to change the background colour, which I'm going to do for the purposes of this presentation, I need to go into options. So right click on the screen, options, that's a quick, easy way to go into options. Display tab, I'm going to change my ribbon and palettes to a light interface and check your background colors. Check your background colors. There's the background color, look, 33, 40, 48. It's not black, it's a mixture. So I'm going to change it to a white background. Now, just be careful with this as well. On the right-hand side of your drawing area, you can see that white text. That is what's called the in-canvas controls. If I change my background to white, it should invert those colors to black. If it doesn't and leaves them white, the text will disappear, obviously. Now that's an issue with laptops, with PCs, and with different versions of Windows. Now it's something to do with a conflict with the graphics card, the graphics chip, and Windows. Now, let me see if mine shows or not. If it's not shown on your full AutoCAD, now that's not in LT, by the way, it's only in the full AutoCAD. I'm going to apply and close, do an OK, And on mine, yes, it's inverted that text over there. Now, if you watched my seminar this morning, my webinar this morning, you will see the importance of those tools over there in the full version of AutoCAD. If you missed it, go onto our website and look at the webinar again. I was told just a moment just before I started this that it could be up to a week before it goes up there. So drop me an email if it's not there, and I'll chase the people who load them up there. Anyway, what if it's not showing? Because your laptop has this mixture of video chip, video card, and operating system. The trick is this: watch, right-click, options, back into where we were, go into the colors, and there it is, restore classic colors. Click, restore them, and that will reset that text. And now it will, I can guarantee, it will display. Apply and close, doing OK. It will display that text. It's been a problem in the last 5 versions of AutoCAD or thereabouts. But anyway, it's shrunk there. So that's the first thing. Get your background colors set up and everything else. What about the ribbon then? Out of the box, there are some tabs missing across the top. You might not know that, but you wouldn't, would you? You're not going to stumble across a tab that's missing off the interface. So to turn the extra tabs on, right-click on the ribbon, show tabs, and look, 3D Tools is missing. Right-click, show tabs, Visualize is missing as well. They are missing out of the install. They're there, just not turned on. Why they ship it like that, I don't know. Anyway, also watch out for missing panels. Home tab, these are panels. Draw, modify, annotate, they're panels. So, in particular on the View tab. But check them all when you go onto a panel, go onto a ribbon tab, check your panels. So here we go, look, I'm on the View tab now. Right-click, show panels. Visual Styles is missing if you do 3D stuff. Renderings, that kind of thing. Show panels. Coordinates is useful, setting out. So that's missing. Right-click, show panels. Also navigate. Zooms, pans, orbits, that's missing as well. Get those panels turned on. If they're turned on, you can then decide, yes, it's useful or no, it's not useful. But if they're missing off the screen, you're hiding to nothing. So that's the first thing to do. Also, my command line is floating near the bottom of the screen, look. It's floating around. My recommendation is to have this docked across the bottom for the interface to make your lives easier, and I'll show you in a moment why, to make your lives easier when you're working AutoCAD. So there it is floating. I'm at the left-hand end of the command line. You've got a spanner across and these 2 vertical rows of dots called grab bars. And I can grab that and pull it on the screen, look. Now, if I pull it down the screen, keep coming down, it will change shape and dock across the bottom of the screen. There it is, it's docked. Now, the reason it's good to have it docked is that you can see the command history. And down there at the moment, I can see one active command line where it says type A command, and also a history above it. The reason you need to see the history there is because some commands have presets on them. So when you go to, say, do the fillet or the offset command or anything of those, it'll tell you what the current settings are. Excuse me. So, for example, in this drawing here, bear in mind it's an imperial drawing. So if I ask you what's the distance across that corner from there to there, on the command line, look, okay, it's an imperial drawing, it says the delta X and delta Y. I want the direct distance, not the straight line distance. I want the direct distance from those 2 points. Now, yes, some of you may know that you can press the function key F2, and there it is, look. That's where I ran the distance command. Now, I show all of these little tips in my training courses. So there we go, you can see in there is the distance, 9 foot 7 and 17/64 in this particular case, in this imperial drawing. You would normally be working in millimeters. Now this window's quite good in this window. I got up on the screen with the function key F2, because watch what I can do in here. I can come into here, highlight that text, do a Control C, close that and do a Control V and paste that as a piece of AutoCAD text back onto the screen. No typos. How useful is that? Anyway, what I was coming to was this. If I just drag on this splitter bar here, drag it up the screen so I can see 3 command lines like that, When I do a distance now, I'll go from there across to there quickly, and now I can see straight away in the command line what the distance is. So it helps you not pressing extra keys to get to that distance command unless you want to go and copy and paste it. So yeah, 3 command lines. Okay, something else which is a real pain out of the box. Bottom of the screen down here on what's called the status bar, you can see these drafting aids down here, Snap, Grid, Ortho and so on. A lot of those are missing as well. Now to turn those on, the 3 bars in the corner there, look, the 3 bars, you click on that and it comes up and it shows you the ones which are ticked are the ones which are displayed. My recommendation is to have them all ticked. Starting at the top there, click on those buttons down there, turn them all on so you will know which are affecting the way that you are working. Dynamic input, for example, was on. I don't want it on, so now I can click on it and turn it off. So that's the Windows, sorry, the status bar across the bottom. They're useful too if they're all turned on. Out of the box, they aren't. Now, because you've turned them on, now you can only get so many layout tabs across here, and it can't fit any more in. So I, again, would recommend a right click and dock your layout tabs above the status bar. Click, and there we go. So now your layout tabs will go all the way across there without having to pull them down on a drop-down list. So you can go straight to your sections, your elevations, your detail views without them disappearing down the bottom there. So that's another useful little hidden tip there when you're working. So yeah, it's all these little things that help when you're working. So that's setting up the interface. Now, I was saying about the toolbars and having those turned on or turned off or whatever. So as I say, the toolbars are still there. They're just turned off. Now, if you want to turn a toolbar on, I personally type in -toolbar. It's actually ages since I've done this. -toolbar. Which toolbar do you want? Well, I'm going to say the zoom toolbar. And then you've got the option to, I'm going to show it on, I'm going to dock it on the left hand side. So L for left. And there it is. It docks it on the left hand side there. Once I've got one toolbar there, look, I can do a right click and there they all are, look. There they all are. And I can turn on my layers toolbar. There it is. So you can work with a halfway house. Toolbars on there as well as your ribbon on there. Okay? Because people come in my training course, I do these update training courses, people come in and I'll have the ribbon on the screen and they're all sat there, oh, not the ribbon again. I'll say, well, no, well, this is where you find the tools and the ribbon. So if I go to the home tab, I show people, there's the layers panel, look. There's your old layers toolbar you used to use. There's the pull down list for your layer list. And the same on your toolbar there. So you don't really need that there. There's your layer properties manager. Great big button there, you can't miss it. There's your set objects layer current, same button there, look, and so on. All the commands on that toolbar, on the old toolbar, are there on the ribbon panel. And there's a shed load more as well. So there's way more on the ribbon than there is on the toolbar. So you don't need that button. Get rid of it. Close that. I'll just turn another one on. I'll turn on, I don't know, what should I turn on? Draw. I'll turn the draw one on. There we go, just pull it into the screen. Right, so yes, your zooms and pans, all your zoom and panning that you need to do is on the mouse. You just use your roller in and out, double click your roller for zoom extents. That's all you need, really. Very little else. Anything else you need is on the right click. There it is. Zoom up and down like that. You want to do a nice slow zoom, right click pan around, right click exit. So that's on the mouse. You don't need to clutter the screen up with that. So close that one, you don't need that one. Okay. And honestly, within half an hour, people are using the ribbon efficiently. Now, one of the gripes about the ribbon is this. People will say, well, when I'm on the annotate tab to put dimensions on the drawing or put text on the drawing file, because there's a text panel, a dimensions panel. If I want to go and move something or edit something, I've got to go back to the home tab. It's a bit of a pain to do that. Well, watch. This is what you can do. You can go to the modify panel there, which is a panel you will use all day, every day, and you can drag it out of the ribbon onto the screen like that. Perfect. Now, when I go to the annotate tab to put text on the screen, that stays on the screen in place. Exactly what you want, isn't it? So there's on the home tab, there's my draw panel. Pull that out, and there we go. So it's just like having the draw toolbar or the modify toolbar, so that when they do remove those from the program, at least you can get back to having your, okay, they're slightly different shaped toolbars on the screen. But I know what people say then. They say, oh, yes, Steve, but that's okay. But by the time I pull out the layers panel, because I need that one, the properties panel, I need that one, you're cluttering the screen up. Now, those fortunate enough to have 2 screens or 3 screens can just move those panels to the other screen out the way. But I do realise, and I've seen it happen before, that when people have multiple screens, they'll have AutoCAD on one screen, they'll have a PowerPoint on another screen, they'll have Outlook on another screen, and they don't tend to mix the application between the screens, do they? And at the end of the day, you're not going to use all those buttons on those panels potentially. So let me show you a way around that as well. So to put these back into the ribbon again, top right hand corner, return to ribbon, and they go back into the ribbon where they came from, so don't worry about messing up the standard ribbon. You can slide them along and change the position if you wish. There they go, back in the ribbon again. Right, at the very top left-hand corner of the screen is this thing called the Quick Access Toolbar, which I'm sure you're all familiar with from Microsoft Office. Okay, and you can turn things on and off. These are the standard options on there, look. I'm not going to open from the web or mobile, so I can turn that one off. Click onto that one, I can say turn that one off, don't need that one. But I do need, for example, properties, that's a nice one to have on, and also my match properties. And they stay there all the time. Now watch what I can do here. I can go to any command on the ribbon, whether it's text, dimensions, line command, move or copy, right click and add to Quick Access Toolbar. And there it is. There's the move command on the Quick Access Toolbar. Nice, quick and simple and easy to do. Now I know this is useful. I'm telling you guys, because I've been into other people's offices and I've seen customers doing exactly this. They are modifying the Quick Access Toolbar, putting onto it the commands they use on a regular basis. For example, the modify panel down here, look, is a really useful tool called join. You can join lines to arcs to polylines to make you a continuous object. So join, that's a really useful tool, and it's buried. Right click, add to toolbar. There we go, now it's readily accessible. I use that instead of polyline edit, quick and easy. Now, by the time you've filled it up halfway along there, it starts to crash into the drawing name. So what you can do is this, watch, end of the Quick Access Toolbar down the bottom there, show below the ribbon. Perfect. Now you've got a customized toolbar, which you can add commands to all the way across the top of the screen there, and put on the commands that you use on a regular basis. Brilliant. So that's now you're not scratching around looking for the commands anywhere. Did you know you can do that in Outlook? Look at my Outlook here. If I just bring my Outlook screen up the top there, I've got refresh, I've got undo, there we go, new item, reply all, forward, delete, block send, it's all up there, look, on my Outlook toolbar. So that's, you know, it's a Microsoft thing. And AutoCAD, Autodesk follows suit. So you get that customized. Right, and to take commands off again, right click remove. So it's so easy to customize. There's no excuse for not customizing it. Put it back up above there. Right, so that's so you should be able to get away with this new ribbon. Now, if you don't like how much screen it takes up too much screen there, then at the end of the ribbon, look, you can click this button here, minimize it to buttons. There we go, a bit more screen for you. Hover over the draw panel, there's your draw tools, there's your modify tools, there's your annotate tools, quick and easy. As you get more familiar with the product, you can click this button again. Now into panel titles. Okay, and I can even click it once more. I'm now got a maximum screen area possible, look. Click on the home tab, pick the command I want, draw a circle, come out here and draw it. So there's no excuse saying, oh, the ribbon takes too much of the screen. When you shrink it up, you've got more screen space than you had with the old toolbars. So if you click that button again, it goes back to the full ribbon again. There we go. Okay, right, so there's my screen set up. I'm going to open up a couple of panels because they're really useful. a couple of panels. One is a tool palette, one is a properties palette. So you can do it from the view tab on the ribbon. There we go, look. There's your tool palette, comes up on the screen. Now, tool palettes have been in AutoCAD since AutoCAD 2002, 19 years ago. Holy moly. Right, and people are still not using them because they haven't been shown how they work. I want to show you in a moment. The other one to turn on is the properties palette. And they turn on where they were last turned off. And personally, I will come into here and I click that button. I don't like them docking personally. It's entirely up to you whether you dock them or not. I'm not going to go into detail about that because I would do that on my training course. But I'm going to put my properties palette, sorry, my tool palette in there for the moment and just drag that a little bit. I might close the properties one for now. It's become a bit limited for space with my, what they call it, the go to webinar thing on the right hand side there. So, right, what was I going to do now? Yes, so supposing that's my interface there now, that's my preferred interface. All the panels are turned on, all the tabs are turned on, my toolbar is docked, all my settings across the bottom are okay. But if I was to close my machine down and open back up again, hopefully, fingers crossed, that's all there again. But what if it isn't? Well, you need to save that away as a workspace. Down here is your workspace switching look. That was the default workspace, drafting annotation. In LT, you've only got one workspace. In AutoCAD, you get these three default workspaces, 3D Basics, Modeling, and the Drafting. I'm going to save this one as Steve's WS Shortcut Workspace and save on that. There we go. It's as simple as that. Save your workspace away. So now, if my ribbon disappears, ribbon close, oops, wrong one. Close that. Control, close my command line. I've got no palettes. I've got no command line. I've got no ribbon. So you're thinking, oh, well, how do I turn those back on again? Oh, well, ask so-and-so. He knows how to do it. Oh, he's on a 4 nights holiday. That's no good. So you have to start Googling stuff. Well, if you've saved your workspace away, it's dead easy. Watch. Come down to this workspace, switching down here. Go to a different workspace first. Doesn't matter which one you go to. I'll go to 3D Basics. There's a 3D Basics workspace with this sweep, extrude, all the rest of it. Come back to your workspace, Steve's workspace, press the button. There it all is, look. Press of a button. Can't go wrong. It's all there. Palettes, the ribbon, command line, everything else. Now, when I go to installing, which is I do very rarely nowadays, I'm busy training. When I go to installing, some of the programs, there's more missing off the screen. It takes more setting up. So I'll set it up on one machine. I'll be sat with the IT guy, and I'll say, there you go. There's the workspace to give out to all the other guys. And I copy it to him on a memory stick and give it to him. When you install all the other ones, go away and give them the workspace so the guys have a fighting chance of using the program. So the question is, how do you transfer a workspace from machine to machine? Well, it's dead easy. Or you might want to take your workspace home. So if you install your home user license, which you can take a copy of AutoCAD Home on a home user license. If you want to know about that, contact our office. You can run AutoCAD at home or in the office. So you type in CUI, which is short for Customized User Interface, and it comes up with the CUI editor. And there we go. And it's in what's called a menu file. Again, I haven't got time to go into the details, but there's my workspace. I'm going to use the transfer button up there. As I say, bear in mind you can replay this. On the left-hand side is the customization file or the menu file I'm using at the moment. On the right-hand side is a brand new menu file. And I can drag my workspace from there and save it away as a new file. And there's the save button. I'm going to save it to my desktop. Where's my desktop? Can't see for looking. Desktop, there it is. I'm going to call it, this is my menu file with my workspace in, and save it away. Job's done. Okay on that. If I look at my desktop, somewhere on there it is at the top left there is the menu file my workspace in. Okay, so come back into AutoCAD. What I'm going to do now is CUI. I'm going to delete the workspace off this installation of AutoCAD. So I'll just make that one current. So right click, set current, There we go. And right click delete my Steve's workspace. And it's gone off my machine. There we go. OK on that. So I'm back to my standard AutoCAD interface. So how do I get back in again? Well, it's just the reverse of what I just did. So on a different machine, you type in CUI. If I can type, here we go. CUI, I'm trying to rush a bit here, conscious of time. Go to transfer, go to open on the right hand side there, go to my desktop, open it up. There's my workspace, drag and drop, and then apply an OK on that. And I could have set it current from there, or down to my workspace, switching down here, Steve's workspace. And there you go, Bob's your uncle. It's all there. My perfect layout. Everything's open on the top there. Spot on. So that's that. Right. Crashing on, tool pallets. Hands up those who use tool pallets. Oh, I can't see you, that's no good. I'm used to this classroom training business. Right. So, yes, tool pallets, they are fantastic. Okay, so just to quickly show you, you can make up your own tabs down here. See all these sample things they give you. This comes with all the LT, AutoCAD, the full AutoCAD, and all sorts. So it's got symbols on there, look. And you can go and click on a symbol, and it might come in the right size, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it has there. Drop it in the drawing. Click on a symbol, and drop in the drawing. If I come down here, click on a symbol, and drop in the drawing. So using the tool palettes to insert it. Now these are dynamic blocks. And looking at the time, I'm sorry, but I won't have time to go through dynamic blocks. But if you'd like me to do a webinar on it, at the end of the session, just email me and I'll say, I'll show you. So if I come onto here and say, well, change that to this card, this block, or this block, a variation of theme there, I'd love to have time to show you how to create these, and so on. On the door here, look, there's a door symbol. Let me just get rid of one of them. I'll delete that one. Put this door symbol. If I say, well, show the door symbol wide open, here we go. Show it open 90 degrees. Flip the leaf over. Flip the hinge over. It's just, these are dynamic blocks. I was hoping to show you, but God, the time just flies. Right, let's rationalize the display of tabs. I can see people are sending some questions through there. I'm sorry, I won't have time to answer them now, but I'll give you my email address at the end and just email it to me and I'll answer you directly. You might have a drawing file. Send me the drawing file and I'll show you what you want to do. Yeah, sorry, Kelly, I shouldn't have time to answer them. Right, let's have a look. So I'm going to rationalize the tabs. There's too many tabs. I'm not going to use all of those. Right click, customize palettes. And this is the customize palettes box. Drag this down. On the left-hand side are all the palettes you got to play with. Oops. So right click, customize palettes. These are all the palettes you have to play with. On the right-hand side, these are what are called palette groups. And these are sort of logical groups of palettes that they've pulled together. I don't know how to give you all that many. Anyway, on this side, I want to make myself a new group. Right-click, new group called Steve's TPG, short for tool palette group. Okay, and in my group of tabs or group of palettes, I want to have my draw panel, tab rather, my modify palette, and I'll have my hatches and fills. And what else shall I take? I'll leave it at that for now and close on that. So now, right click, I can set my palette group as current. So right click on the strip, Steve's tool palette group, and there it is. There's all my draw tools, there's my modify tools, and my hatches and fills. And I can make myself a brand new tab as well. New palette, there it is. Now I'm calling it Steve's tool palette, Steve's TP. Okay, there we go. Right, so I'm going to open another drawing. Let me open another drawing. And I hope you're all using this shortcut list because I did a reset straight off. It's ruined my list. You can take out the standard ones. Look, all this rubbish that they give you out of the box. I don't want any of that. And you should be making shortcuts to the folders on your server. So in here, I'm going to go to my C drive. I want to have that folder as a shortcut. I want to have that one as a shortcut. And I want to have sample drawings. Whoops, that one is a shortcut. And I actually made, let me just quickly see, data, I'll have that one as a shortcut as well. Right, into that one, And this good old bank building, I like this drawing here. This drawing here is a useful drawing. So you've got some drawings already, I'm quite sure, with symbols in already. So if I grab an existing symbol, this could be one of your drawings. Somebody says they can't hear me. Somebody says they can't hear me. I can now. Oh, sorry. Okay, brilliant. Not sure what that was. It looked like everything was okay. Okay, Kelly, cheers. So this could be one of your drawing files. I must keep an eye on that panel there. This could represent one of your drawing files with some symbols in already. Watch how easy it is to populate the palette. Click on it, drag and drop. That symbol is now available to drop into any drawing on your system. Wash basin, drag and drop. Come on, I missed it. On the edge of the symbol. Don't use the blue grip. Notice I was avoiding the blue grip. Keep away from the blue grip. It won't drag and drop from the blue grip. Drag and drop. Look how easy it is to populate it. So now I can go to any drawing. Here we go, a brand new drawing there, look. Go to any drawing, and from the palettes, drag and drop. Okay. Click and drop. Click and drop. There we go. How easy is that? There we go. So it's dead easy to populate that palette. If I come back into here, now I am hoping that you're all using layers in your drawing files to lay drawing files up, using colours to define pen thicknesses. I'm going to print into colour. And in this drawing file here, look, if I go to the Home tab, there we go. Yep, sure enough, you got all your layers are in there. And these red lines here, if I click on this red line, I'm going to make layer 0 current. Make layer 0 current. So if I click on this red line here, it tells me it's on layer furniture. Okay, so watch what I can do here with these palettes. They're really, really useful. As I say, you've done the hard work already. I can highlight a line and go and select the line and drag and drop the line onto my palette. And there is the line tool. But it's not just any old line tool. This is a tool specifically to draw furniture lines. Specifically, down here, look, click on that wall line there, some layer stairs, or that layer, stair line rather. There's a stair line. And a wall line. If I drag this and drag this onto the palettes, there we go. And we are now setting up and creating a custom set of tools specifically for your office. So this one here, right click, rename, these are furniture lines. But let's rename it. Rename it accordingly. Furniture lines, right click, rename, these are stair lines. Stair line. Now I do all this in my training courses because it's really, really useful stuff for you guys. Rename. These are wall lines. Wall lines. There we go now. So now we have an office set of tools. An office tools. So for example, here we go, I'll zoom out a bit. Here we go. Watch the ribbon up there on the layer panel. As I click the furniture lines, it automatically goes to the furniture layer and draws furniture lines. If I switch to the staircase line, I can draw staircase lines at the press of a button. I don't have to worry about layers. The tool palette takes care of it for me. So if there are any CAD managers on here or company owners or whatever, then this will help to implement CAD standards. The operators don't need to know about what layers to use or what layers to draw this on or that on. You just say to them, look, here's our office standard tool palette. You need to use that when you are drawing lines. Okay, or there's some text, look, drag and drop that onto the palettes, and that will now standardize your text or dimension or hatch patterns. Can you all see how useful these palettes can become? Yep. Watch this here. If I go and start a brand new drawing, nowadays, drawings get transferred around from company to company. So supposing this drawing file here has just been received from the company on the road, from Joe Blogg's installations down the road, and I want me to do some work on it. But when I look at their layer list, there are no layers in this drawing file, or there's not my layers. There isn't my set of layers in this drawing file. However, now we've got our standard office set of tools here. If I go and click onto the tool palette there, draw some furniture lines, there we go. There's some furniture lines, there's some staircase lines, and there's some wall lines. Okay, looking at the layer list now, how cool is that? It's made the layer, set the color, set the line type, set the line weight, and I didn't have to do a thing other than press a single button. What it means is, I know a lot of you create drawing templates to start new drawings from. But what people do with drawing templates is they fill them up with layers. They fill them up with all their standard layers. Now, I went to one customer to set up some drafting, some CAD standards in their office, and they said, well, we need to follow the BS 1192 layering standard. We need to follow the drawing standards, BS 1192 layering standard. The trouble with the BS 1192 layering standard, like lots of the British standards, is so complex and over the top, it beats the objective of having layers, which is to help to break your drawing file down into standard parts, such as all of your text, all of your hatching, all of your dimensions. The BS standard for walls, for example, is probably half a dozen layers, but you don't want half a dozen layers. Nevertheless, this company said, no, I want to have the standard BS layers in there. Now, we did agree to rationalize them slightly, and they ended up with, just for the architect department alone, 300 layers. Then the mechanical guys, they wanted their layers. Same set of layers, prefixed with M, another 300 layers. And then what was the other one? There's 3 sets of layers. There was the electrical, the mechanical, and architectural. 600 layers in the drawing file before they even start work. Where's your standing a bit ludicrous? So if they had, as I suggested, used tool palettes, it would create those layers as and when they were required. So you can see how useful those layers, those tool palettes are. Right, what about sharing these around the office? Now you can link them to a central library, but the quick, easy way is this. If I go back into where we did a customized palettes before, there is my new one, Steve's TP, right click, export, and it creates an XTP file, which you can just pop into a folder somewhere, pop in a webinar folder there, save on that. It's a tiny little file. Where is it? There it is, XTP, 20 kilobytes. It's not the summit, is it? I can email that to somebody, they can open it up and, and use it straight away, pass it around the office, give it to other people. So you only need to have one person in the office who's au fait with setting these palettes up, and the rest of them just use them. The rest of them just use them. Dead easy. Right, watch, I'm going to delete this palette off my system here. Delete. Okay, it's gone. Right, so I'm on the machine further down the office now. So on the machine further down the office, I just go right click, customize palettes, right click, import, Steve XTP, open it up, and straight away I got all the tools that Joe Blogs down the office created. So easy. And email them. There's one of our customers, another quick example of palettes here. Actually, I'm going to rapidly run out of time. You guys have probably got other things lined up after 3 o'clock. A customer down the road from us, they were getting in Ordnance Survey drawings. And I don't know if you use Ordnance Survey, but like a lot of drawings, there's masses and masses and masses of information in there. So they buy the drawing off Ordnance Survey, and then they were spending 3/4 of an hour just stripping out the rubbish they didn't need to leave behind the data they wanted to work with. So I said to their CAD manager, well, you should really be getting that sorted out and automated, because it's a repetitive process. You need to automate any repetitive process so that it is repeatable and accurate every time you repeat it. You don't want to be doing it one time and getting it slightly wrong the next time. So I made a palette for them, sat in the office here and emailed it to them, and they're able to use it straight away. So let me just show you that. We do Control-O to open, and it's in the webinar folder, and it's a cleanup. There's like a cleanup routine. So this is an Ordnance Survey map. This is what you buy from Ordnance Survey in DWG format. Okay. So what this customer wanted to do, they wanted to strip out all the information they didn't use, and then clean the drawing file up and crack on with their work. As I say, 3/4 of an hour. So I thought what I'll do is I'll make a palette for them. So I made a palette and I emailed them. So here's the palette. Right click on a customize palettes, right click, import, and I'm going to go into the sample drawings folder, and I called it stripper. It does nothing more than strip the drawing files down. Don't get excited. Here we go. So there we go. And I just banged it together there. Right, so we've got a drawing file on the screen. Now I thought, well, the first thing I need to do with any drawing file you get in, now this is applicable to any drawing file, if people send me drawing file, is get it all the layers thawed, all unlocked and turned on. So the first button on the palette there does exactly that. Watch, I do a single click on that button there on the palette. Click, there we go. So that's all on the screen now. So all the layers are thawed, turned on, unlocked. Right, so I thought the way I'll approach this, I will freeze the layers of the information they want. Does that make sense? So you can't see it, so it's safe, it's frozen. So the trouble is, if you, as familiar AutoCAD users, you will know you cannot freeze the current layer. This drawing happens to come in on a layer called Road or Track 2. So I couldn't freeze it. So the next button down would set layer 0 current. So I click onto that. There we go. Layer 0 is now current. The next button was to freeze the layers they wanted to keep. So this company gave me a list of layers they wanted to keep. So I made a macro to freeze those specific layers. And I just called it freeze all the keep info. Click. Now I saw the drawing change slightly there as some layers were turned off. So essentially what's left on the screen there is just rubbish, they don't need it. So the next button just erases everything that's displayed. Click, and it all disappears, okay? The next button, when I click that, should thaw some layers. So fingers crossed, there's actually something there. Let's have a try. So turn all the frozen layers back on again. Yay, we've got some information there, fantastic. And then change the color to 253 because they wanted to use this as a backdrop to place their work on top of it. Click. Let's change the color look. And finally, a command called purge and audit. Now I showed that this morning in my morning seminar what this purge and audit actually does. It basically strips out the rubbish out of the drawing file. And at one click, I can do a purge, an audit, and a reg apps as well. Remove registered applications and let it do its business with one click. Job's done. Right, function key F2. Let's just see what it did. If I scroll up here, look. Here we go. Look at all those registered applications that were stripped out. So it's been in CAD's this drawing file, and there's been other bits and pieces done in there. Look, purging out some plot styles. Look at those dimension styles that are not being used. The text styles, line types. All those line types that are not being used. Ordnance Survey used masses and masses of line types, filling up this drawings database, just overloading the drawing with stuff they don't use. Layers, oh, and it goes on and on and on and on. Loads of them. Right, I'm not going to go through them. And blocks, yeah, look at all the blocks. Masses of blocks being dumped out because they're not being used. The net result, if I do a save as on this, I'll call it map cleanup. Save up down here. Cleanup map afternoon. Save on that. And if I go and look at that folder, cleanup map afternoon, the drawing file was 4.5 meg. I clicked 4 or 5 buttons, it's now 1.9 meg, less than half the size with a few clicks. Now, what I did there was so that the company could understand what's going on, I separated out all those buttons into separate little routines so they could see what was going on. I could have made that one big super button. So they get the drawing file in from external sources, they press that button, and then they just start their work. I've reduced 3/4 of an hour work down into one button press using tool palettes. Now, if that's not useful, I don't know what is. There we go. Right, now it's 3 o'clock already, and I'm sure you guys got other things to do, from meetings coming up, and I'm sorry I didn't get through as much as I'd like to got through there. But if you'd like to see a seminar on things like dynamic blocks or get your head around annotative objects, drop me an email and I'll see if I can get one together in the next week or two. I can go through that and show you that as well. Well, okay, folks, I hope you found it useful. As I said, these things I cover on my training course. If you know about the training courses, then just get in touch with the company. My email address, if you want to message me directly, if I just put some text onto here, annotate some single line text, starting there, height to there, rotation 0 is steve.crow greatech.co.uk. There you go. So you drop me an email or whatever, and ask fire any questions away, and keep an eye on what other webinars are coming up. Okay, well, I hope you found that useful, everybody, and yeah, hope to meet you all soon. All right, thanks very much. Have a good day. Cheers for now.